So we just finished the study tour on Thursday, and today we visited 4 companies in total. There are actually a lot of connections to be made amongst all the companies, including the ones we visited earlier. Firstly, I just want to talk about the determinants of organizational structure that influence creativity and innovation. Interestingly enough, there's a correlation, and that was that as companies get larger, there tends to become a disconnect between the founders and the employees, and this disconnect results in a lack of value instillment. This was notable in Cobalt this morning, as Cobalt is still a small startup. And when asked about their values, they had trouble putting it into words, and they said that everything is very instinctual and in the moment. And a perfect example of a company in the middle, a company which identified as a teenage company, would be Omada, between a startup and an enterprise. They fall right in the middle in terms of that structure issue. They said that they're trying to create values and instill values, but they're having trouble doing so. So they're not as instinctual as Cobalt, but they're not as set in stone or concrete as a company like LinkedIn or Facebook. LinkedIn has set values, and that they constantly remind employees of what these values are. And if employees don't act on those specific values, they are immediately called out for doing so. Furthermore, tools like cooperation and change. There's something that can be drawn from that into Nitro. As Nitro is going from chapter 1 to chapter 2, it is important that the right tools for change are used. And Nitro is making sure that their values are continuing to be pushed throughout this transformation to make sure that productivity continues in the workplace.
So similarly, support mechanisms are an organisational culture that influences creativity and innovation. The support of failure was common amongst all the companies, both startup and established. Janelle from Nitro continued to say, failure appetite. This encourage and support of failure was common amongst these companies, as well as Joel from Facebook saying that if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. Similarly, at LinkedIn, Robin and Greg stated that, sometimes it's better not to launch a product than launch a product that isn't, in the best interest of the company. However, as a group, we also acknowledge that there can be some issues with such support of failure, as it's hard to differentiate what the difference between intelligent risk and stupid risks are, as a risk assessment can be really hard in the moment, and it's not until after a risk has gone wrong that you can actually acknowledge that it was a stupid risk rather than an intelligent risk.
And Tristan directly commented on this when asked about this.
Cobalt highlighted that it's really important to be aware of the worst case scenario when engaging in a business venture, and this relates to the reading of effectuation, specifically relating to affordable loss. This effectuation mindset could potentially be a solution to the dilemma of whether a risk is intelligent or whether a risk is stupid.